As a student at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, we live in an area surrounded by concrete buildings, residence halls, and manicured lawns. Bordered by the city, we often become detached from nature and the world around us, not to mention the busy schedules we live. Exams, papers, group projects, it's no wonder we hardly take the time to look around us. Well, with the help of Professor Summers in the biology department, and as a student majoring in environmental studies, I decided that I wanted to engage myself and help my peers get reconnected with nature. In order to achieve this goal, Dr. Summers suggested that I help transform UNCG into a pollinator-friendly environment in order to help bees, butterflies, moths, bats, and various other pollinating species. Sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. That's me. My name is Allison Sermarini, and I'm a senior here at UNCG, earning my degree in classical civilization and environmental studies. I have a passion for rolling my R's when reciting Latin poetry and saving the planet. And that's Mr. Peter Ash. He's my partner in crime. I could talk about how great of a guy he is, but I'll let him introduce himself to you.
Hey, my name is Peter Ash. I'm the sports turf manager at UNCG. So part of our recent responsibilities and projects has been working with the biology department for developing some of our grounds to naturalize them in ways where we use pollinator plants. We've done some seedings and developed some no-mow zone.
Now that you've met the team, I welcome you to UNCG Project Pollinate. I bet a couple of you are wondering why pollinators are so important and what do they do? Well, I decided to reach out to Professor Summers and ask her that exact question. She will also be discussing the North Carolina Butterfly Highway Conservation Initiative that donated native perennial seeds to our project.
Pollinators our native pollinators are in very tight, close relationships with the plants and other animals around here. Also, the plants provide places for pollinators and other species to lay eggs. Having pollinator plants and pollinators here at UNCG supports our native wildlife and biodiversity. We are coming to understand the importance of this for ourselves, for the environment, and for all aspects of life and our understanding of the natural world. Having pollinators at UNCG supports multi-levels of life here on campus and native wildlife. The North Carolina Wildlife Federation has started a program called the Butterfly Highway. UNCG now is part of that Butterfly Highway. They have given us plants that are planted in several areas on campus and have provided us with seed packets so that we can grow more native plants here at UNCG.
Not only did the North Carolina Butterfly Highway program provide assistance with making UNCG a pollinator-friendly habitat, but so did the UNCGreen Fund. What is the Green Fund, you ask? Well, let's ask Caitlin Atkins, who was the previous co-chair of UNCGreen when the Green Fund was approved.
The Green Fund is a fee that every full-time student pays each semester of $2.22, and then the Green Fund committee, made up of faculty, staff, students, go through and decide which proposals from each semester are going to be funded by the Green Fund. So the Green Fund committee decided to fund the pollinator garden because it's a perfect example of what the Green Fund was created for educational purposes for all students and staff to see on campus. So it's very educational as well as bringing biodiversity to campus and helping pollinator plants and insects and things like that.
After applying to the Green Fund and receiving funding for $872, Mr. Pete and I traveled to two local nurseries located near Pittsboro, North Carolina. The first nursery was called Mellow Marsh, where we picked a couple of tubelings and high bush blueberries. And the second location was Cure Nursery, where we picked up the rest of the perennials. Both nurseries specialized in native plants. While at Cure, we met Katie, who was happy to talk briefly about the nursery.
Hi, my name is Katie. I'm a horticulturist at Cure Nursery. Cure Nursery is a native plant nursery that's been growing native plants for over 20 years now. And what's really exciting is that native plants are finally becoming popular amongst gardeners. People are finally realizing with the bees and the butterflies on decline that native plants are really important for providing habitat for those creatures.
So we finished our day of purchasing plants and we spent all $872 of the Green Fund. And now we're coming back to Greensboro with a truck full of bushes and perennials and exciting things to plant. This meant that it was time for the dirty work to begin. Mr. Pete and I planned various work days and gathered several volunteers from Ann Summers' Biology 105 class. Last semester, we practiced sheet mulching, where we placed cardboard down to suppress weeds and then placed a compost mulch over in order to create a healthy planting bed. After this was complete, Mr. Pete and I performed a dormant seeding so that in the spring the seed mix would germinate. For the second semester, we planted many saplings and bushes with the student volunteers in Peabody Park close to the Piedmont Prairie. We got down and dirty and even made some... Wait, show us your worm friends.
Worm friends!
Over the past 2 semesters, I had an amazing time engaging with my peers, but I'll let you hear what they have to say about the experience.
Hey, I'm Peyton.
My name is AJ.
My name's Eric.
Hey, my name's Jasenia.
Today we planted trees for Bio 105.
So I did this for my
Bio 105 class.
I'm in Bio 105.
Bio 105.
Let me just start off with saying I really enjoyed this.
We planted 3 kinds of plants.
some spice bushes and some American beauty berries in this area.
Berry, button bush.
It was very interesting. It's something I don't do every day.
Because I never really did this kind of stuff. I'm not really much doing planting.
I did a lot of, gardening and yard work back when I was younger.
I guess I was able to put the skills my dad taught me into this, so it was kind of like, I guess, refreshing my memory.
I got down and dirty.
It kind of brought out the kid in me because, it's stuff you do, when you're a kid, playing dirt and stuff. And,
My hands were messy, but I absolutely loved it.
It's a peaceful thing to do. Kind of calms your nerves when you're on edge or whatever.
Get out here, even though it's kind of hot, and plant.
Being outside in this weather, even though you got bad allergies, it's pretty fun. Better than sitting in the classroom.
And I learned a lot about some plants that are native to North Carolina, so that was really interesting.
I didn't mind doing it. So it was very fun and learning about nature and where to put plants.
The pine trees can give them some filtered light, but at the same time they'll still get enough water and everything.
That I can take away with this, so I can plant different things that are native to North Carolina.
And I also didn't know things like how we need to get native plants in order to, officially give back to what has been given to us.
After learning about all the kind of stuff that are happening to the environment, it's kind of good to help back.
I think we should all take a part in that, just because this is where we live, this is where we get our food.
And I love the fact that we were giving back to the earth and not forgetting about it.
Give back to the world that we live on, because the world is the only one that we have right now. So I think it's very important for us to be able to give back and do stuff like this every once in a while.
Give back to the world we live on, because it's the only one we have. And not only do we share it with pollinators, but we could not persist without their help. Busy buzzing bees, tiny ants, wasps, bats, moths, birds, and the most admired, beautiful butterflies. 75 to 95% of all flowering plants depend on pollinator species to help them carry the teeny tiny grain substances we call pollen. We depend on pollinators for our food, and without them, our food supply and ecosystems will diminish. Their numbers are declining. Overuse of chemicals, disease, and the increasing temperature of global climate change have all contributed to the ever-shrinking population of pollinators. Even though this project is coming to a close, there is still more that everyone can do. Plant native pollinator plants in your yard or porch. you can provide a habitat for these helpful creatures, and make sure to check out the pollinator plot located in the parking lot next to the UNCG baseball field, or take a walk near the Piedmont Prairie later this spring and see if you can spot the pollinators at work.
What if we took all these landscaped areas in Greensboro and we decided that instead of bringing in sterile plants, that we decided that we were going to support native plants that support native insects that support native birds, bees, butterflies, and reptiles, and all sorts of life, mammals that not just provide the services for agriculture and pollination reproduction, but for the richness of life, for our lives here in Guilford County.